I'm looking forward to. But Nick, let's jump over to you to wrap things up. What is on the top of your pile?
Oh, well, for me, it's definitely got to be Petrol Head #1. This is from Image Comics. Comes out next week on Wednesday. Full disclosure, our podcast did get an advance copy comp, so I did read that. This is a book that's written by Rob Williams with art, covers, colors, letters, and graphic design all by Parr. Look, I'm pretty much almost always gonna read a Rob Williams book. I think most people familiar with Williams are used to all of his 2000 AD work. Occasionally, he does sort of show up in American comics and do something like, I think, like his Martian Manhunter run, and then maybe remember why he doesn't like doing American comics. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I think you see these people who like come over, they do an arc of something, and then they're like, yeah, that's all I'm going to do for now.
Right.
And then go back to 2000 AD. And I mean, basically, look, I just saw the cover for this book, and I was like, this looks fucking awesome. And was like, how will this disappoint me? Like, even if I don't open up this book and I just sit there and I just look at this image for like an hour, I'm still gonna be like, this is fucking cool. And it's like, there's something about people who work on 2000 AD books that just have this really great sardonic sci-fi tone. That's not like grim, dark, post-apocalyptic future, and it's not like super self-aware. Haha, I'm in the future, and it's shitty, but also I'm gonna make a funny sort of thing. You know, and I think in some ways that's sort of, if you look at the tonal difference. And I'm painting with a broad brush here,
Sure.
but if you look at the tonal difference between IDW's Judge Dredd and 2000 AD's Judge Dredd, you sort of can see this tonal divide, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I just love that perspective that you get with those sorts of books. And this book really seems no different. Like, right out of the gate, you're introduced to this robot who has like a little equally robotic little buddy of his who's just like a bird, who begins the book by saying like, oi, oi, watch yourself, Fuzz is coming. And you can add your own British accent to that. I'm not going to do it. Nice try. 2 weeks in a row. Not going to happen.
We'll get you one of these days, White.
Yeah. But the Fuzz do indeed show up. And it's sort of, there's a crowd surrounding this robot. And this astonished child in the front row goes, "The robot's smoking, Mom." But like, we don't mean smoking in the sort of like circuit overload or like wiring malfunction variety. We mean like the robot is like literally got a Marlboro Red in his mouth. And
hell yeah.
Right out of the gate, you're like, this book fucking rules. And you learn that this guy is apparently one of the titular head. Let me try that again. Mixed up my words here. You learn that he's one of the titular petrol heads, and these petrol heads are banned from non-pollution sectors because obviously this is the future, and Earth is pretty crummy at this point. So he's told that he has to go back to his smog zone or face immediate consequences. And I just love this world building where it's just equal parts expansive, it's intuitive, it's easily understandable. It's not lore dumping, it's not heavy exposition, but it feels organic, it's easy to understand, and yet it's also kind of like funny. And it's great to have these books that can walk and chew gum at the same time, because you don't have, like, it's in my experience, and I'm sure it's true for so many comic book readers, you either have books that like go nowhere and they build tone, but there's no world building, or it's just lore dump for the first 2 arcs, and then it's like, okay, now that you've read all of this, let's get the train moving. So this book just it's fun, and it exudes, and it sets the stage for what it wants as a tone just right out of the gate. And I love that.
Well, yeah, you were sending me screenshots of this
Yeah.
last night, and I was like, "What the hell even is this book?" Like, I'm definitely excited to check this out. Like you said, we got a comp, which is nice. But still, this to me looks like one of those kind of bonkers comics that you only get every once in a while. Like, I feel like a book like The Weatherman feels like this, like it should have been something like this, and it kind of drifted in a different direction. But from what you showed me, this seems like it's going to be just bonkers and really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I might snag a copy at my shop if I go, because who knows? Like you said, Rob Williams doesn't really write a lot of American comics, so it's nice to get one of his books every once in a while. Like, it's funny you mentioned him as like a 2000 AD creator. I actually know him from his book that he did a while back called The Royals.
The Royals, yep.
Which was
I think it was Simon Boland maybe was on that.
Yeah, it was like, what if the royal family actually had superpowers, and that's why they're the royal family? It's like, this is stupid. Great, thanks for reading. Thanks for like writing 5 issues and just calling it quits. I really appreciated that.
Yeah. It's so much fun, honestly. I realize the book is a little expensive. I think it's like $6, but it is an oversized issue.
Yeah.
The art is just like absolutely gorgeous. Like any sort of post-apocalyptic narrative that doesn't go for the obligatory color palette of grays and browns and blacks and actually just gets colorful.
Mhm.
Like it's tonally, it looks like a shitty place to be, but it has a broader color palette, which I appreciate. And there's also, a little, it's not hand holding, which I appreciate, like social commentary, because you learn that this robot, whose name literally is Petrol Head, he used to be part of these things called the Petrol Head races, which was basically extreme racing sports. You get robots driving cars. People bet on them. They purchase merch of them. They have their favorite drivers. And this whole thing is devised by the government to distract people from the fact that their entire world is grade A fucked. They have to live in these little habitation zones, right, where it's safe and the environment is okay, which of course is why they want this guy out, and he has to go back to his smog zone because of course he's ruining the environment.
Mm-hmm. Is this the future of F1? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, exactly, right? Because, like, first off, it's just funny because he gets the name Petrol Head because you have all these other cool racers who have names like Hybrid, but they determine that this guy is so ugly and he's poorly designed that they can't come up with a name for him, so he just gets called Petrol Head. There is, I don't know if this was intentional or it's just me, reading into it from my own perspectives, but yeah, there is something of a commentary about you have this racing and it only exists in the smog zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the environmentally awful areas. And of course, it sort of falls out of fashion. And it kind of also becomes a question of like, why do you celebrate this thing that's environmentally questionable at a point when the environment is not doing great overall?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you could read some Formula One or automotive racing environmental reform stuff into that. I don't know, but
isn't there an F1 thing that is
F1E, which is electric? Yeah, Formula E.
You knew exactly where I was going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Who'd you think you were talking to?
Exactly.
I know. Well, this book looks really cool, man. I mean, like, I really like that. Every once in a while, I feel like we get some really interesting books coming out from Image, and like this seems like one of those books that's going to be just like a lot of fun, probably quick and done, and it'll be a nice little trade to have on your shelf, right?
Yeah, no, it's I think there's a lot going on here, and whether you're into robots or racing, some pretty dry humor or some light social commentary, and just gorgeous artwork, just absolutely gorgeous artwork. I don't know why I've never heard of this individual before, because the artwork on this book is just absolutely stellar. I think it's only 3 issues, which maybe makes sense to me. I have a feeling that this was probably all done completely in advance, because I don't know how anyone could draw this book on a monthly basis. It's just borderline impossible.
Yeah, looking at this person's other art, it looks like they've done stuff for 2000 AD, so that's probably where
Yeah.
they hooked up with Rob Williams. But like the amount of just detail in some of their pages that they've done is incredible. Like I'm looking through their Instagram right now, and it's a lot of cars. I think they like drawing machines. That's what I'll get to.
That makes
I'll
total
say.
sense.
So,
Yeah.
it's very cool stuff.
Yeah. If you're looking for something a little standalone, a little different, beautiful, check it out. And if you hate it, let me know, and Mike will gladly compensate you those $6 or whatever.
Is it? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I guess you can make you get one IRCB guarantee using my wallet.
one Mike Rapin promise by proxy.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I think that kind of wraps things up.